right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the EXERTIS Broadcast Podcast. Today, joined by a couple of the cohorts from off in the hinterlands, Mr. Rick Paleo from the great state of somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, and Mr. Matt Bain coming at us live from Chicagoland. Well, or, somewhere near Chicago, correct?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah,
Chicagoland.
Chicagoland works, right? All right, guys. Thanks for being on the show today. Topic is Vimeo Enterprise versus YouTube. So it's an interesting conversation. We were having this around the office just recently, and the conversation came up, why Vimeo when you can do pretty much everything on YouTube for free, right? And we started talking through some of the finer details. And it really comes down to, I think, everybody sort of thinks of Vimeo as this place to share media that you stream from, but they don't really know that there's a whole Vimeo Enterprise platform. There's a platform designed for large corporations, large media companies that gives you a level of greater control than you will get in just a standard Vimeo account, and certainly things you can't do in a YouTube account. So that's kind of the topic today. Let's talk about why Vimeo Enterprise over YouTube. So I'm just going to open up right away. Like, Rick, what's your initial thoughts? Vimeo Enterprise over YouTube?
I want control over my content. I want to be able to know what is going to be available on my page. I don't want any ads. I don't want any suggestions. I want my stuff. And that's what I like about what you can get with Vimeo, is that you can organize it and count on the fact that this is your page, your content, no suggestions, no ads, no cat videos. Love the cat videos, but I don't want them on my site. So that's what I think. That's what I like.
That's for after hours, right? Cat videos on lunch break. Yeah, totally.
My gosh, yes.
Totally. All right, Matt, over to you. Why Vimeo Enterprise over YouTube?
To me, the main aspect is all about control of your content and making sure that you have a real strategy about how you're going to control your content for its life cycle. When you go to a free platform like YouTube, you're often giving up a lot of not only the control of who can see it and how, but you're also probably giving up a lot of rights to the ownership of the content itself. So I think those are just, a few of the aspects that you really have to think about in an enterprise scenario, or at least in a scenario where you are concerned about the ownership of your content.
Yeah. Well, and the audience that's viewing it, right? Because once it goes to YouTube, you don't get any control. So let's take that for a moment, like the control of the content. Right at the gate, we got to ask ourselves, like, who's Enterprise for, right? When we look at the Vimeo Enterprise platform, this isn't a replacement for YouTube, right? There are still, if you want to reach a wide audience, you would still probably publish on, YouTube Enterprise. But if you want to control your audience, and this kind of goes to who the client might be that would use this. Let's say I'm a large corporation and I want to ensure that my employees are looking at this content, but I don't want maybe other people because, it's internal content only. It's training material, right? This is a platform for that type of content, right? Where we say, okay, we're going to publish all this training material in here, and I want to ensure my audience sees it only. And I can even check to see if my audience is watching it because I can see through the analytics and, and kind of understand who's viewing it and what device and all that fun stuff. But the reality is we have control over the audience, where with YouTube, we don't get that control. Anybody can see it. Now, granted, within the enterprise platform, we can open it up so other people can see, but that's not really the point here. It's about that greater audience control and that content control. So let's take the who for a second. Matt, you go right back to you. Who do you see as sort of that ideal audience to use the Vimeo Enterprise platform?
Really, I think it's anybody that looks at their content as part of their identity of their brand or their corporation or whatever type of entity they are. If creating content and creating media is something that's going to be tied to your brand or your name, you really have to have a strategy about how you're going to maintain it. And I think that really crosses a lot of boundaries of different marketplaces and different types of customers. So while it's called, Vimeo Enterprise, that might be a bit of a misnomer in that it actually does fit for people that aren't necessarily enterprises, even nonprofits, schools, larger universities. We've seen a lot of different types of entities need this type of a platform. So it doesn't just have to be a corporation.
Yeah, Rick, over to you. Who's your ideal client?
I just have to just agree with all of that. I mean, ideally, exactly, somebody's that wants to brand it. So houses of worship, schools, exactly. I really see corporations really kind of missing the boat with just focusing on YouTube. I mean, the general, going to YouTube obviously is a starting point, and you'd always want to go there. But to be able to have your page with all of your real content, corporations really have a absolute opportunity to really clean everything up and present their, exactly as Matt said, their branded message.
And I'll add something else to that, and that is that there's a whole other component of the Vimeo Enterprise platform that I think might be overlooked when you're comparing it to something like YouTube, in that it's also an internal communications platform,
right?
Yeah.
Right. So beyond just hosting, your live events that a lot of people are really familiar with doing some type of a stream to YouTube or hosting, video on demand type content. But when you really want to get into managing your internal communications, that's a whole nother set of tools that are presented to you through Vimeo Enterprise that you don't have in a free solution.
Yeah, let's jump over to our fictitious corporation, Nye McLaughlin. Jordan, if you could bring that up on the screen for everybody to see. This is Nye McLaughlin, and this is something that you can't really do that well inside of YouTube. You get the ability to have a channel, and you can have sub channels, but you can't really create sort of uses for those in the same way. So this is Nye McLaughlin, our fictitious company. As you can see here, they've got a couple different things, right? They've got showcases. Showcases are sort of micro clusters of content that might be around a specific topic. It might be a specific event. So we get these showcases. And within that, the collections that you can do inside of there. These are things, again, that aren't as easily done inside of YouTube, where you can sort of create different pathways for your content. You can collect or connect this content to external sites. Like if we're going to publish this on a website and we want the analytics coming back through that website. The other one in here is chat and all the different layers of communication. And again, if you're a corporation that wants to put, their content within a sort of a firewall and control the experience within that without getting, like you guys said earlier, the annoying cat videos and the advertisements and all the other things that come up, this becomes a really good way, a clean way of doing it, right? And you control the experience for your users. So, I mean, it's, I kind of wanted people to see this. If anybody wants to check out Nye McLaughlin, the media group, they're an awesome company, our fictitious company. All right, let's shift a little bit on this. So, Jordan, if you could go to our slides, because no presentation will be complete without a PowerPoint deck of some sort. So, the big question today we already asked was why Vimeo Enterprise. Jump to the next. So right out of the gate, some things that I want people to see, like what are the main benefits right out of the, it's like no ads, right? So because this is a paid platform, we're disabling all advertisements. So you're not going to get the random, manscaping video that's going to come up in the middle of your big presentation. No suggested videos, meaning you're not going to then get suggested your competitors or another company's video at the end of, your content or in the middle. No autoplay. So, sorry, Rick, no cat videos for you. It's really about, again, controlling the experience that you want your, audience to see. And then robust analytics. And this is a really important one. We use this internally to know who's looking at the content, how long did they spend on it, where were they? So we get a ton of really relevant metadata that comes back to us so we can understand, kind of who's seeing this and how long are they. I think one of the most important is how long are they watching? Where are they stopping? All these pieces, right? Where are they watching from? So for a national corporation, or we're spread throughout the globe, we can see if certain countries are looking at the content versus others, right? How good are we at sharing our own internal? Jordan, go to the next. All right. Branding, Nye McLaughlin, right? We go back to that branding page. We were able to customize every element of that page, from the color palette to the background, palette. So now here are the ones that are really important for me. SSO integration. And this is where I think the enterprise side comes to, Matt, as you said earlier. Like, it's not just the enterprise, but here's where the enterprise layer comes in, is tying into your company's single sign-on. So whatever, if they're using Okta or Office 365, whatever their sign-on is for getting into the platform, we can ensure that only our company members are getting into the platform to see the content we've published. Plus, then it's one less login you've got to create because it's tying into the rest, what they're already using. It's the same password they use for everything else, right? So it gets them into the platform. So it's a lower integration point for IT in terms of managing usernames and passwords for, 5,000, 10,000 people, whatever it may be.
And Nick, I think that actually, speaks to the larger point that it's a lot easier to just roll it out as an enterprise and manage it through an IT department than having a third-party service that's free that you don't control.
Yeah, and it's easy to use. Everybody knows how to use something like a Vimeo or a YouTube or any of these, right? Because it's pretty synonymous in our life, on our phone, wherever we're at, video is there. So it's not like you have to train people. You just got to give them a login to it, right? And with this, the SS integration, you're right. It's easy to roll out. The next one is live stream, right? So just like YouTube, you can post videos, but you can also live stream. So Vimeo, because of their relationship to Livestream, the company that they purchased, they have the ability to live stream events, and you can tie that into your platform so that you can have a live event that's tied into some on-demand videos. But we get a lot of cool layers within this. And Rick, you brought this one up in our pre-show, which is like, what are the pieces you like? And you hit these right away, the polling, the QA, the graphics. So, kind of talk to that one a little bit.
So number one, you could turn on chat in YouTube during your live stream, but that's public. So any one of those, anybody can type anything into your chat, whether you want it or not. Vimeo Enterprise has got a cool feature where you can have that exact same chat, but you can also have Q&A where everything is monitored, and you can either keep it all in-house and ask the questions, like a PA could be going, hey, Nick, here's a question from Bob in Poughkeepsie, or you can actually have it posted and actually have a graphic in there. The other cool feature is polling, where you could actually pose questions and get real-time results and post them. A lot of shows right now are doing that. We're seeing that in broadcast television now, and so you have that same exact feature within Vimeo Live.
No, I mean, I think that's a perfect one, right? I mean, it's that ability to, produce a more engaging event and connect with the audience members on your team or within your company, and Vimeo just
while having control over that content.
Well, and that brings us to that last bullet point too. It's not just control, but team. Right, operating as a team. I think YouTube's sort of seen as a solo operation. Your traditional YouTubers work on their own. With Vimeo, you can actually operate as a team, right? You can have one person moderating comments, another person doing maybe graphic overlays or polling, while another person is just working the showcase. So you have the ability to create different layers in your organization and connect to them and bring them in and give them different permission sets as far as what they can do in the platform. And again, these are all things that you don't traditionally see inside of a YouTube-esque style platform. Yeah.
But this actually, brings it back to the complexity of the content that you want to create. I mean, you obviously a one-man band and streaming live from your basement, or you could have it a little more produced, a little more clean and more organized and a little more complex, and that requires a little more talented staff. So
yeah, I mean, going back to the live stream part, right? We talked a lot about like publishing content and doing videos in there, but if you're doing a live stream, you can simply live stream from your desktop. So somebody could give a presentation from their desk, using nothing more than their laptop and be, communicating to the entire company, or you can connect to a broadcast switcher or a encoder and be publishing through that encoder. So you definitely have that flexibility to produce, multiple events simultaneously under one banner, with a myriad of different tools. Yeah. Anything else that comes to mind from either side here? The additional features that just you think are the sort of what crushes this is in an enterprise or corporate environment?
So one of the other things that I will say is, we talked about taking ads out of content, but Vimeo does give you the ability to insert your own, right? So we start to look at making your content another vehicle for either monetization or brand awareness, or just being able to use your content to accomplish some sort of a business objective. And Vimeo, while we said it does take out ads, takes out the unwanted ads, and it allows you to use that space to do what you want to do with it.
Yeah, and there's a couple different ways you can do that too. Jordan, if you jump over to our friends Nia McLaughlin for a second, this is one of their showcase pages, and we've got sort of a live stream that's happening that we can jump into, but we've got additional video assets that are tied to this event that we're doing, which could be ads as well, or could be, sort of part of the overall story. Hey, we're launching a new product at Nia McLaughlin. Here's the, the individual products, videos along with that live stream. So you're right. There's several ways we can sort of tie that together. But again, as you said, ads should be controlled by you, not by your platform provider, right? That's important. Rick, parting thoughts on this? Any features we missed that are important to you?
Right now, I think we covered all the really cool best points. I just love the fact that you've got a nice, clean, solid feed. One last thing, I got it now. You have the ability to stream into your Vimeo Enterprise account and the ability to go ahead and distribute from there to Facebook, to YouTube, to LinkedIn, or any other RTMP account. So having that one location and then being able to distribute from there is a very, very cool feature.
Yeah, it's sort of a recast feature, right?
Yeah, built-in recast feature.
Matt's got a hot one.
Yeah, I got one that I completely forgot. And I think sometimes we take for granted. It looks better. I mean, it just looks better. It makes, when you talk about making video, you want quality content. And I think we kind of, take that for granted. We want to have the best quality content. But truly, if you are looking to stream content on the web or have a video portal for people to see your video, it is going to look better in your Vimeo Enterprise platform than it will if you post it on YouTube.
I mean, quality should matter, right? I mean, and it goes back to the experience we're wanting to give our audiences. As a corporation, you want to give them the best experience. They engage better. That's more interactive. And so these are all the tools, right? High quality video, high quality interaction. So yeah, I think that's super powerful, and important, no doubt. All right, we're going to wrap this bad boy up. This has been a good conversation, guys. And I think the reality is I think people should try it. They should check out Enterprise. They can get a demo. They can come to us and try it out themselves, or we can show them ours. We'll happily put them inside Nia McLaughlin's media group site. That's easily done. All right, I want to thank you both for being here in today's episode. Matt, we will see you soon. I'm hoping you're going to be back out in Cali at some point here in the future. Rick, we're going to get you out of Washington here, man.
At one point, I will be there.
That's right. I'm excited to see that. All right, we're going to call this episode of the EXERTIS Broadcast Podcast over and out. Thank you both.